Yes, people, what is going on? England out of the World Cup. A reaction to last night's game. Cameron, I can see you are knackered. I mean, it's been a lot of emotional toll for England fans, and I'll say it, bottled it. Totally bottled it.
Yeah, we went defensive too early. That was it. Once we got the goal, we sat back. The mindset was, let's just try and hold on to this 1-0 lead, see if we can get into the final. And we can't do that in a World Cup semi-final. It's football suicide.
You are completely right. It is. And I started to notice that the game might not go in our favour when Anthony Gordon came off. The one thing that we had that was causing them a lot of problems was the pace. It was the threat of constantly going forward, which means they had to leave certain people back. Then when they started to move up the pitch, that's where they're all dangerous. You've got all 11 players for Argentina in a similar area, and all of them can deliver balls of quality. It only takes two, and that is literally what happened. Who's this, as a genuine question, in your opinion, who is this game on? Like, who is responsible for this defeat? Because I think a lot of people are putting it on the manager, and I would tend to agree with them.
Yeah, I think Tuchel's at fault. I think his substitutions were very negative. I think having that mindset of bringing on defenders will affect all the other players that are on the pitch to think, okay, let's sit back now. And it also, we talked about it in previous videos, he bought Gordon, Madueke for their pace to get in behind. This was the game for them. Madueke doesn't touch the pitch. Okay, he's not had the best tournament, but having that pace would always be a threat for Argentina, and there was tons of space for it to exploit. You can also blame the referee. I think he's just as big as Tuchel in this. The first couple of minutes of Bellingham gets a hit in the back pretty much like a couple of seconds after the ball's been played. No intention of the ball being played. That's a book him. Enzo Fernandez.
Elliot Anderson as well. I mean, supposedly said he sort of blacked out for a few seconds as well. There's a lot to factor in. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think the referee was that bad actually throughout the whole game, but the start of it, I thought he was really poor.
I think he was awful. I genuinely think the referee was awful. You could see straight away the amount of fouls Argentina were creating and no cards. It already set the tone of the game. It's like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. And I was in the pub last night. Everyone thought it was hilarious that the first yellow card went to England for a foul on Messi. Like, it was one of those ones where it's like you could have put your life savings on it and it would have happened.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go with this now, but I mean, when England, before the game happened yesterday, I was looking at it thinking, if we're going out, we're going down fighting. That was my thing. And don't get me wrong, Argentina are world champions. We don't think they've been that good at this tournament. I think we'll all agree that they haven't been that good at this tournament. And I've seen a lot of people in England, a lot of, maybe it's more casual fans, sometimes it is more, sort of die-hard, more regular football fans. But there's this phrase that gets said a lot, which is, well, you've got to beat them all if you want to win a World Cup. And the truth of the matter is, you don't. You don't need to beat them all. You need to beat the teams that are in front of you. And you look at Argentina, they were lucky against Switzerland, lucky against Egypt, lucky against Cape Verde, and they were lucky against us in the fact that we stopped playing football. And I think if Argentina do go on to win this World Cup, they will have to play a very, very good Spain side. Vamos España. But I mean, they will have to play a very, very good.
On Duolingo.
Yeah, I think the whole of the world has you right now on Duolingo. I think it is the most. I'm pretty sure it is the most learned language on Duolingo. Spanish actually is a weird fact across the whole world. But yeah, I do just think that the game itself. I mean, England lost it. It wasn't Argentina did anything amazing to go and win this game. It wasn't as if it was like a real moment of quality. The balls that went into the box, particularly the second goal, the one that is getting on my wick big time. If you have a right back at right back where Ezri Konsa was, who was nowhere near the ball, that is exactly the sort of person you would want to try and deal with that. And this is why I'll put this on Thomas Tuchel. I mean, everyone knows clearly, Chelsea fan, loved him when he was with us, obviously won the Champions League, was a defensive masterclass, I think, for large chunks under Thomas Tuchel. But it seemed all the talk before the tournament, Thomas Tuchel, we want to be a team that's hard to play against, and people, one that everyone goes, oh God, I don't want to play against this England team. Where was that yesterday? I mean, it existed early doors, and we were up for the fight and we were going for it, but it was just the mindset just completely disappeared. And again, everyone talks. There was a lot of talk about this. We've got to be physical. We've got to be aggressive. We've got to be this. We've got to be that. We've got to get into them, and we did the hard bits, and then just, I will say, it just pissed it up the wall. Absolutely, like it was terrible, but. Surely Thomas Tuchel has to take the blame for that, because you can't give one message and then do something different all within the space of the same World Cup semi-final, which, let's be honest, we should have won.
Yeah, we should be here reviewing this game, talking about how we feel about Sunday playing against Spain. That's how it should be.
We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here reviewing this game. We should still be celebrating, is what we would be doing as of right now. We'd probably been a fountain in Trafalgar Square or something stupid like that. Had we have had the opportunity, and I think that is, that's probably telling to the fact of how desperate we were. Is the question maybe, are we too desperate to win it?
I think because it's been such a long time, and a couple of generations now haven't seen England win a World Cup at all. So it's like, yeah, we probably are a bit desperate for it, but it's just a case of now, like, they're professionals. They need to manage those moments as much as they can. And again, it was just, the first 55 minutes you couldn't fault England, and then they started dropping back, inviting the pressure, letting Messi get on the ball a lot more, which they contained for that 55 minutes as well. You're just thinking, right, these good teams like, say, Man City in England, once they score one, they're looking for the second. They don't sit back, they go for it. It's the same with
2-0 kills the game off. It was that straightforward.
Yeah.
If we got the second goal, it would have been done.
Yeah, because I think the 2-0, like Egypt were never going to defend the 2-0 against Argentina. They should have, but on paper you're thinking, nah, if England went 2-0 up 60th minute, say, they got another goal straight away after, that's it, that's the game. Like, Argentina have no hope.
Yeah, finished.
We can go defensive then, and we probably would see it out. But then 1-0 lead with 35 minutes to go, defending, it's just not going to work. You're just inviting too much pressure, and you got to forget, okay, like, the Argentinians are very nitty gritty, they work hard, but they also still have a bunch more quality than Mexico, then Congo, then Norway. Like, they have that quality that can punish teams. Like, I think DePaul came on, put in 2 excellent balls into the box, and McAllister should have scored 1 header.
Yeah.
And then obviously Messi, being how good he is, he got both assists last night. So it's, we shouldn't have stopped. So we should have been like, okay, if we're taking off Gordon, we bring on Rashford. Straight swap.
Yeah.
If we...
I completely agree with that.
Kane was anonymous. Take him off, we bring on Watkins. Rodgers, alright, he's done his bit. Bring on Madueke, keep it stretched. Like, that's the type of stuff should have done. Okay, we take off James. Okay, who can play right back now? Because Konza can, fine, but like, we needed that extra bit of depth.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw Reece James was coming off, I only expected one thing to happen, which was Jed Spence to right back and Nico O'Reilly coming on at left back to keep that stability. And instead, I looked across that back five, and from left to right, it was Nico O'Reilly, Jed Spence, Dan Burn, I think it was Mark Gahey, and then Konza. It's like, your height is just diminishing massively as you go across this. And funny enough, we got caught out at the back post, with probably the 2 of the 3, I would say, that were probably the least comfortable in that back line. It just didn't make any sense from a defensive point of view for England. And yeah, obviously we can talk about it over and over and over again in terms of what we would do and how it should have been different and whatever. But I think, the one thing I do want to mention just before we sort of do round this off is, England are now going into a third place game against France, which I think, we'd be honest, as an England fan, I don't think anyone cares about, and I don't think that the French care about it either, to be honest with you. I doubt a lot of people in this nation will even watch the game on Saturday night. But my question for you is, unfortunately, this game has been sort of, obviously it's gutting from an England point of view, but it's been turned as well thanks to the Argentinian celebrations with the Falklands Islands, or Las Malvinas, I think they call it, with the banner. Yeah, Falklands Islands, yeah. What do you make of this? Because I feel like if this is any other nation talking about going and potentially starting a war, which is essentially what they were sort of mentioning. I saw on a video this morning on one of the radio shows, the call-in shows, that someone said actually that they should actually be suspended. It should be a 5-match ban for anyone who touched the banner, because it's a political statement. And I even remember England fans at the start of the tournament, I can't remember where it is, which is really annoying, but there's one of the flags that very, very synonymous with the RAF, and they had 2 Spitfires on it, I'm pretty sure it was, and they were told in the stadium they weren't allowed to have it, but yet on the pitch you've got Argentinians holding up a very, very controversial banner. What do you make of this? Because again, if Argentina, my reason for asking is, if Argentina do somehow, some way go on to win this World Cup, this tournament has been just absolutely, ruined, I think, by the idea of this constant, messy Argentinian favouritism and all this stuff that keeps going on. It's just red flag central for FIFA from their point of view, and I think world football should be an outrage if it's my opinion only. I feel like this could really go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was seeing some videos and some posts where, because it's a political statement, they should actually be banned from the tournament and like immediately expelled from it. So
yeah,
I mean, it's curious to see what FIFA will do. Nothing, but it's just another thing that I think we just have to deal with, unfortunately. I remember in the last World Cup they were like, yeah, we're in Qatar, no LGBT stuff, no.
Yeah, but I
then it's like,
I
okay,
don't.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're not having political stuff. Fine, we'll respect it. Yet when there's a massive banner, about a war
held up by the players,
yeah,
on the pitch is the biggest thing. I mean, I agree with you. I think they should be banned, but I mean, that does not make a world final, attractive in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, because then it's also a case of, England say they get back in because of it. For me, yeah, okay, great, England can play in a World Cup final, but also they didn't win the game to get there. So it's like,
yeah, I agree
would
with
much
that.
rather just hand it to Spain and be like, yeah, you are world champions by default. But then that ruins the whole spectacle of the World Cup.
The money spinner is completely gone at that point, and I think that's my issue, is the fact that FIFA clearly seem to, FIFA and officials of other people as well. I mean, I think you look at when Balogun came back into this World Cup, it was clearly a phone call that happened from a certain president. Of course, I think the reason why they got him back in is because I think a lot of Americans knew that without their best player, they may not have had a chance. And they wanted the Americans to watch because of all the money that had been spent on this game. There was clearly so much investment that's gone into this World Cup. The home nations wanted to be really good, and again, I just think it's this classic idea of people bending rules and turning a blind eye to certain things. And I do think that world football needs to stand up and actually say, no, that was a really big political statement. Again, ask the people on the Falklands Islands what they think. 99% of them in the last census voted that they wanted to be British, and that is how it will remain. But if you're talking about opening potential warfare on another nation, I mean, if Iran and the US would have had some big problem in this World Cup, we all would have been sitting here going, well, actually, this is why, you shouldn't really have had either of these two nations at the World Cup, because they are already at war with each other. It's just embarrassing, I think, from a FIFA point of view, and I think that they need to get it really sorted out, and it's probably a massive fine, I would say, or something like that. That's going to be the only thing that could realistically happen. But I mean, it's just political element has just got 50 times more, and that is not what this game and this tournament should ever be about. And it's gutting that it's England on the other end of it. But I mean, you can see from some people that are online, you know, the fact that people are laughing quite hysterically at the fact that England have gone out, and about how Thomas Tuchel has bottled it and whatever, clearly shows that people thought England had half a chance to go and win this tournament, which is why it is so funny that England have gone out in their eyes. But I just think the tournament in the last 2 weeks has just really fallen off a cliff, to be completely honest with you, in terms of all the other bits that go on elsewhere. And I just think this is, again, not something that's going to help anyone involved. But it doesn't change the fact that for England, they are out of this World Cup. Cameron, thank you very much for joining us. It's just not the good end to this World Cup that I have to say I think a genuinely very decent tournament as deserved, but this has been really poor. But thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here.